Welcome, everyone. Tonight's presentation is all about you. We are in the season of mercy and grace, I should say. And tonight's presentation is a twofold impact. We're still on the process of supporting our schools, supporting our education system. Teacher Chronicles is here. We are putting out the platform to actually assist any educator, any persons that are in need. As such, I have in the midst with me tonight a profound mental specialist, mental health specialist that has our own platform that she wants to put out because many of persons have not yet connected with their loved ones. And that plays a part on your mental health. So I will be introducing her to you tonight, and then we'll go right into our presentation and we'll share some tips on you going back into the classroom. Not a lot of you have already started, and it's something that you're trying to get used to after a tragedy that we went through. So let's do this together. All right. So without any ado, let me put her on stage. Sashina.
Hello. Hi, hi, hi. How is everybody doing? I hope that persons are great in spite of what is happening. I hope today was a good day for everybody. So we're excited to be here with Suzette on her podcast.
All right, so I'm going to be sharing our presentation now so you guys can be able to see what she's all about. So let's look at it. So she's a mental health specialist, and I'm going to write into her platform. So we're not wasting any time tonight because we have a lot to talk about. When you're ready, Sashina, let me just go back. Are you seeing the plot? Are you seeing the
Yes,
presentation? Mhm.
yes, I'm seeing the presentation. So I was mentioned earlier, my name is Sashina White. I'm a licensed associate counseling psychologist here in Jamaica. And I'm also founder of the mental wellness company, Roar Unleashed. Now, Roar Unleashed targets both individuals and companies in alike to have persons to fiercely protect their mind, which is their most valuable asset. One of the platforms on which we run is the fact that your mind is your most valuable asset because it is the seat of your existence and it is the hub of your creativity. And that simply means that without the mind, you wouldn't be able to function, you wouldn't be able to execute your duties in this realm, as well as, execute your purpose. And so, even though the mind is that part of us, the part of your being that is possibly the most neglected, is the part that we are encouraging you to pay attention to and to make sure that you fiercely protect it because fierceness dictates the fact that it is very important, it's very valuable to you with the mind, and it's not something that we want you to take lightly. It's not something that we are just like, yes, da, 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 because of its importance, because of just how valuable it is and how much it is integral in our day-to-day function. It really and truly is something that we have to take seriously and we have to take up in arms. And the urgency that is associated with this call to action is really out of the fact that yes, it is neglected, but a lot of us don't pay attention to taking care of ourselves and taking care of our mind and protecting it. So every day we just kind of go through the motions and we go through life, and we will do exercise to take care of the physical body. We will do many other things to take care of other aspects of ourselves, right? But we're not really too tuned in where the mind is concerned. And so instead of having the mind and mental health as an afterthought, we are putting it to the forefront as a primary thing that needs to be done and as a priority. So with our organization and our company and our message, we really take a creative approach to it. So the idea is simply get to understanding the mind, get in tune with mental health and wellness, get excited about it, and understand that it's not something that is dread and dreary, but rather it is something that is exciting and something that you can integrate into your lives creatively to just make sure say you're all right. Because one mind we have, it is irreplaceable, and if we don't fiercely protect it, we stand the chance to lose it. And how we might lose it, you might ask, it's quite simple but profound. Life is unpredictable. Life is just something that you can't predict, something that you can't um say, well, this is going to happen. It's not something that you can actually plan for. So you can plan, but you have to have some level of adjustment in your planning because of how life set up. So because of the unpredictability of life, um, we have to make sure that we are okay in a mental space and learning how to cope and deal with the fleeting situations of life so that we can have resilience for bounce back. And by doing that, we mean, have some little daily habits that might seem insignificant, incorporate it in your life. Don't make mental wellness or mental health care as a secondary option. Make it as a primary option because I want you a man, one mind, and you have to fiercely protect it. So, in looking at the whole grand scheme of things, where we're talking about life is unpredictable and things can just happen upon us that kind of put us in a tailspin the whole entire world. We are here at this point in Jamaica where we were hit with an unpredictable circumstance. Now, while it can be deemed as something that is predictable in the sense that we saw it coming, we were able to track it in a sense, the truth is we weren't really fully able to predict its movement. We were just moving along with it and just making the necessary adjustments. And then when it hit, because it was a category 5 that the island has never experienced before, the unpredictability of it now becomes, or the unpredictable nature now becomes more highlighted, where we're seeing that even those who were prepared were not necessarily as prepared for this. For those persons who were not prepared, the expectation and the experience, the actuality of what happened is completely different from the I'm not about prepared kind of a vibe. So that's the unpredictability of it. We hear a lot of talk and saying that the storm is moving slower than usual, it is bigger than usual, it is wider than usual, and all of that. So those things feed into the unpredictability of that particular situation. And as a result of that, even after she leaves and gone about her business, the after effects of it is also still unpredictable because nobody could have said, okay, it's a category 5, it's going to hit down 5 coconut trees and it's going to take off 2 roofs. So we predict it, we're going to wait for it. When she left, we started to unearth the the physical effects of it, the infrastructural effects, the environmental effects of it, we recognize that, okay, category 5 is far serious than anybody could have imagined or predicted. And then, outside of the environmental effects and so on, the mental health effects of the aftermath, the hurricane, before, during, and the aftermath of it was also unpredictable. So we have high spikes as it comes on to like anxiety and stress and overwhelm and depression. And life as we knew it prior to October 28th was completely different. But life now beyond October 28th is not anything that we could have predicted, we could have dreamed, or we could have imagined. So based on that circumstance, the hugeness of the natural disaster, we now have to be reaching out and building back and trying to stabilize ourselves as a nation, not just as individuals now and not just as parishes in their own independent right, but also as individuals collectively, meaning as Jamaicans. We're having now to look at it as what the effects are in terms of our very own profession and how that would now lead to um, the strength of mental health and wellness. So we have the soldiers out there, we have the Coast Guard, we have the police officers, we have the members of parliament, we have the the young people who are now parents to their parents because they move and gone and they have parents living over there. We have the entrepreneurs. We have the firefighters. We have a whole host of professions. We have the teachers who now have to get into a zone of reshuffling and reshaping what each profession is looking like during this restoration of
Mhm.
the island after Hurricane Melissa. What does it look like? What does it feel like? And all of this is absolutely unpredictable. And so for us as an organization, we understand the need to do the check-ins to make sure that everybody all right because every single solitary person on the island and every single solitary person in the diaspora that is somehow connected to Jamaica, either you visit Jamaica, you were visiting Jamaica, you have relatives and friends in
Yeah.
Jamaica, you had visit Jamaica, the whole entire gamut of us all is going through something mentally. Mentally, and it doesn't mean violence, it just means that the emotions and the thought process and the feelings and the mind space has been rattled. And so we have to make sure that before we can go on with business as usual, before we
Yes.
can go on with schools opening, and before we can go on with police policing and lawyering and piloting and all of those things, we'll have to make sure that each person is okay. So the mental wellness checking that we are doing
Yeah.
is in specific areas in the country. Um, Areas, we're starting with areas, just some random picks, areas that may not have gotten any visitors as yet. And the idea is grab a bunch of therapists. We're sitting with you, we're talking, we're listening to your heart and what's the devastation. Because the biggest thing, and that's why our company is called More Unleashed, the biggest thing that we promote in fiercely protecting your most valuable asset, which is your mind, of a talk. Because enough of we sit down, bungle up things and feel like we can manage it, but it don't work like that. So we are taking the conversation to individuals. Just to give them a little opportunity to talk,
And
offload the on their chest and
yeah.
so on. And then we give them the coping tools. It's unconventional, it's unorthodox, but it is what is needed in this particular time. Because they cannot both to come to the therapy session. Everybody is struggling in some way, shape, or form. Even those who would have survived in the sense that they were the least devastated are having mental health challenges because either them are go through survivor's guilt or remorse to say the mere fact that my structure not damaged, me have a bed to sleep in and me have things to
Yes.
eat.
Yes.
You know, me not feel so good about that because my brothers and sisters in the West are suffering. So that's also a challenge that we have to work on to make sure say we stabilize back mentally and emotionally as Jamaica land we love. Yeah. We also have teachers, for example, and this is big on your platform, teachers
Yes.
who, are individuals, because teachers have lives outside of school.
Yes, we do. We
So
do.
teachers who are individuals now and they pretty much are expected to get back in the classroom. Remember, some teachers are picnic too because they have parents.
Yeah.
Remember, teachers are also parents too because they have children. So they have to have struggle both. They are also husband and wife, spouses too because they have spouse. And they are also professionals. So people first, human first, and they're also professionals. So they have to deal with all of that before they can take on the resumption of serving other persons in whom they were entrusted. And
Yes.
so we have to make sure that all right, it's not about not getting back into the classroom because we know we
We
have to
have.
get back in the classroom. But what's the road that we're going to take to get there? And how is it going to actually look? Because the bottom line is
Hmm.
even if the schools are reopened, it's not going to look and feel the same prior to October 28th. So we're doing with check-ins. We're trying to make sure that everybody is okay as much as we can. And we're trying to encourage individuals to come and talk to us because we see that without mental health and wellness at the core of all of these solutions, we're going to have a society that is rattled by anxiety, depression, stress, and maybe unaligned suicide ideation.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It is. It is. Because I like how you placed it, where you said that their parents, their wives, their spouses.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you look into the news, you're not seeing anything happening in the classroom, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of anyone coming out to say, I need help. And
Mm-hmm.
as I did in my live last Sunday, I made sure I told the persons that going back to the classroom will not be the same.
It can't be. It
It's not
cannot
going to
be.
be the same
Mm-mm.
because now the students are traumatized.
Mm-hmm.
So have to we strategize how you're going to be placing that lesson on them.
Mm-hmm.
First, you check in with them to find out how have it been since the lesson. As I said, some of them may not even want to talk.
Exactly. Some of them may not even want to talk, and then later on down the line now, you're going to see it come out in academics. It cannot be business as usual.
No, it
I
can't.
know I am biased as a psychologist, but I will forever be biased. You see, if the mental not stable, if the mental is not well, you will not function in any other
Mhm.
regard. So no
Yeah.
matter how many plans you make, and no matter how much you want to improve certain areas, whether it be financials or economics or whatever it is, if you don't get the mind right, it's not going to work. Because the corporate angle from our company is the employee's mind is
Yes.
the company's most valuable asset. So
God.
can you
Wow.
imagine? So let me back that up again. The
Yes. Yeah.
employee's mind is
Yes.
the company's most
Yes.
valuable asset. And that
Yes.
is why when you go to HR to do an interview to get
Mhm.
into the job, they want to make sure, say, you are able
Stable.
to produce and you're sane and the whole entire work and you run
Yes.
background check because they want the best in the organization. Now,
Mhm.
whatever unpredictable life throws at an employee, they must be able to sort that out so that they can return to the highest level of functioning so that they can operate in a company's bottom line positively. So
Mhm.
the company bottom line is to make profits, or if you're a school, you want to make sure that the graduates turn out
Turnout.
at
Yes.
graduation and you have the most this, and it's absolutely
Retention
fine.
is
But that
normal.
can work unless we have mental wellness at the center of it. How am I going to teach effectively knowing that my aunt or my uncle's house rooftop is
Blow.
blown out? Or I can't find Uncle Percy. Me not hear from him. I can't sit up in front of a class or stand up in front of a class and be my best self. And I fret upon Uncle Percy at the back of my mind. Now go walk,
No.
right? The
It,
students are also not going to listen because if they've never experienced a hurricane before and they sit down and watch devastating effects, and we know that they're on TikTok, and we know that TikTok and Instagram is flooded with all these kinds of devastation, and they're scrolling on it out of curiosity, and it is seeping into their subconscious. They're not going to manage a school. And we're not saying it's the blanket thing for everybody, because some students, because they never do them so badly, them all right with it and so on. But we have to look at it from a general perspective. So before we can review, we have to make sure that everybody is okay. We have
yes.
to.
Yes. Because I mean, the ministry is trying to do all that it can
Right.
to get things back in normal sense, and I applaud them for that. Because if it is that we don't go to normal sense, it will not return to normal. So you have to take it in steps.
Yes.
So where else can persons look out for you guys? Because you said St. Anne and Clarendon, and most persons are going to St. Elizabeth,
Elizabeth, yes.
Westmoreland, because
Mm-hmm,
those are the hardest.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Will you be going to those sites anytime soon?
So it's about mobilizing resources, and it is about getting to the neediest first. And it's a huge devastation. So we are doing what we can. So it's not necessarily about us as an organization going, but it's about igniting something
Okay.
within the realms of Jamaica and the whole psychology, psychiatry, mental health aspect of it, to say, if you're a therapist, if you're a psychologist, psychiatrist, mental health practitioner, you're in that area, you can
Come
tap
on.
in and look at
Come
your ear,
on.
because it's a lot. And that's the thing,
Yes.
that we have to be mindful of. Once upon a time, it would have been a little one area, a flood
Mm.
prone area, and we can converge on it and all hands on deck. But the truth is, the island is split in the middle. And even though the right side not looks so devastated, you have pockets of devastation over there. So, and the
Yeah.
left side is
So
going
yeah,
through. So it's a
yeah.
national effort. So the national effort would now mean that, all right, me started, but you can pick it up. Me started, but you can join alongside. So
Mhm.
even with this, there a beautiful step has been made. Our company started it, but the Jamaica Psychological Society, JAMSI, jumped on and said, okay, we can give you in the Clarendon area, St. Anne area, we can give you access to our therapist and so on.
All
So,
right. That
yes.
is that
So
is
I'm a part of the JAMSI education committee, and they said, all right, cool. So we have two little linkages from
um
Clarendon that able to jump on and say, yo, I like this initiative, let's go. We're doing it. And then we'll have it near, which is the northeastern
mhm.
region. Nira now is able to jump on and say, all right, we are in St. Anne. We are going to meet you in St. Anne and whatever. So it's actually evolving and spreading, because again, I go back to the fact that it is not an individual effort. Individual I do them thing, and me not
Yes.
a problem with that.
And I'm glad
Believe
them
me,
doing
me not a problem with that. 'Cause I as an individual, I'm doing my thing as well in my little pocket. But
yeah.
this is a national disaster. It's a national crisis, and it requires a national response. It don't necessarily mean that the government has to generate the response, because yeah, we know a little specialty and with an area that everybody's doing it. You know what I mean? So it's a national response. So even the podcast, for example, it is
Yes.
good to have the podcast set up. It's your initiative and so on. And so we who see it have the responsibility to share it, because we not
Sure.
share it because we are look likes. We are
No.
share it because we know, so we have over 1,300 teachers. We need to understand how we are
Oh,
going to have
that's
to
what it's
move
happening.
to solve the problem on a national level. So that's where the national scale is concerned, right? So we
Mhm.
out of it, we also got another region,
Mhm.
which is Saint James, South Saint James. So we're going to hop on and that, a little bit and inject it and so on. So again, it's a national effort. It's a national effort. I wouldn't mind other persons jump on and say, all right, let's do this. Da, da, da. And I find that different pockets of psychologists, mental health professionals
Yes.
are mobilizing themselves, and I'm grateful for that. To say, all right, cool, let's go.
Because
Let's go.
it's a national call.
It is
It's
a
something
national
that
cause.
we have to look into, because no, we're not hearing the aftermath of the mental crisis that is going to
No, no, no.
erupt.
Mm-hmm.
We're not hearing it yet, because school just started this week. Many
Yes,
persons are still trying to navigate through this new norm.
yes.
I mean, COVID came and we managed that well, and
Mm-hmm.
we're now flustered back into
Mm-hmm.
a next traumatization that they
Mm-hmm.
did not look into. There are so
Mm-hmm.
many things that they're trying to strategize to make sure that persons don't lose the teaching and learning aspect
Mm-hmm.
throughout the semester.
Yep.
But one thing we have to understand, you cannot pour water in an empty basket.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, if the teacher don't have the capability to be able to understand that this is what they need to do, now they need to
Mm-hmm.
go in there and be themselves. And if they're going to the classroom and the students are not in a frame of mind to learn, then it will not go on.
Yes.
Mental health is a very big part of it. I know the minister did say in her last press release that they are mobilizing therapists for educational
Mm-hmm.
institutions where needs be, so persons can be able to tap into that,
Mm-hmm.
because we it's a national call. It's something that we need to pay attention on, and I believe using my space, I'll be able to project what needs to be done in a
Mm-hmm.
simple manner, like a presentation I'll be doing in the next 5 minutes, just to give some insights on things that you need to know, where you need to use it for, what things it, because trust me, I, I have colleagues, and we had just discussion on what they're going to need to do to get back into the groove of things.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, oh, I said, Jesus, so I don't even know what I'm going to do.
Exactly.
But never try. Students come into the classroom, you start out with a little talking, and you have to
Mm-hmm.
creep in and listen inside of it. But you
Yeah,
will still feel guilty because you don't know if that student can go home to light or water.
that is it. And then you have to issue assignments and coursework and say when it is due
You
and
want
all of that. It cannot be business as usual. What are the plans that we have in place? Because yes, it might be a situation where the school have light and water, but remember that schools serve a diaspora. So therefore, I might be a student at X school in X community, but I might come all the way from B community, D community, C community. And as a result of that, it takes a toll. We don't know if light and water them yard. We don't know if my neighbor have light and water where we can borrow. We don't know if all of the funds at home may have to be channeled to fix it or own room,
you
or we might have to
by the
send the
bed,
funds down to Auntie
fit.
Patsy and Uncle Percy down there because people don't understand that aspect of it as well. Like it is, we understand say we might not be physically devastated in terms of the infrastructure, but we are not in the position to say, okay, my good, my all right, or whatever money where we did have, we have to now channel it into support because we might not tell we say, guess what? Do
Yeah.
that because I not feel no way about it. Because if something did happen to your property, number one, people would have to be given to you. And number two, you'd have to end up and spend more money. So right away you have to go so book, 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 and you have to just make that a priority. So all of those things you have to be making tricks because remember, so the people them can't necessarily come to you. So as
Yes.
the move
Yes.
as one and as that now, we can't really sit down and think about the lesson plan just yet. But now say when I get back there, now, me have to get a little talk
Yeah.
to, me have to get a little tip up, give me
Mhm.
some tips, give me some motivation, some inspiration, help me to shift my perspective so that I can understand that I am now split between there and here and it is fine. Me have to go find the energy. Me have to go do what I need to do. And I also have to make sure that my capacity, my cup is full so that
Yes.
I can pour into my students because let me tell you this too. There are a lot of persons in social media that are therapists. There are a lot of people who feel like they get a little inspirational quote and they can just come on and they can just put up their camera in front of their followings and they can just talk about it and leave it there. But
Uh-huh.
there is a secondary aspect to this
Yeah.
whole therapeutic situation. It's not just about giving advice, and that is why we say therapy is not giving advice. It's not about giving advice and leaving it there. Because the truth is, we also have to listen. The biggest part of being a therapist is that we have to listen.
Listen.
And a
Yeah.
lot of persons on social media are not ready to listen to the hearts of people. And when I say listen, I'm not talking about one man where I pass and I talk, me I talk about the floods of it. So a
Yeah.
big part of it is that you have to learn how to deal with that. So you're seeing 60,000 comments or you are talking to 18 people in one day on these issues. That's why you have to know what to do with it. And you also have to know what to give them. So we have to make sure that we're okay. And a lot of teachers are not mental health specialists, which is fine.
No.
So when you step into a classroom with your class of 35 and you say, guys, how are you doing after the hurricane, and they go, boy, Miss Edwards, da, 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 da. What does the teacher who is not a mental health therapist now do with that when she ends the Zoom class or she walks out of the physical space? There are a lot of layers to it. But we are your therapists and we are here for you. So for
And that,
anybody who is
yeah.
on the platform, make sure they have follow therapist. That's my biggest championing statement as Roar on these. Make sure you have follow therapists on social media
Please,
so that you
please.
can
And
have them.
I will put up your hand in a minute
Yes.
because look here, guys. We have to look into this thing. We are not, as I said to my podcast before, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not an educational psychologist in any way. I'm a technologist. I do technical
That's
work.
right.
But you still have to try and help your brother and sister. So
Very
wherever you
true.
can do the little research, I did it. But it's not concrete. These people, these minds, are the persons that we need to tap into,
Yes.
because these are the persons now going to see where the student is a little bit off
Mm-hmm.
and tell
Mm-hmm.
you, no, look here, there is more than just what she is talking about
Mm-hmm.
here.
Mm-hmm.
There is more, and I need for you to look into it. So we have to make sure that we have that in mind and keep it going. So as I segue a little, we're going to look at some tips, guys. My presentation tonight will be more of empowering you as educators. After the storm, what to do, how to navigate, how to reconnect, how to strive, how to renew, how to guide you into this new norm again. I mean, COVID was one, and now you're gone into our next one. So we're going to look at some little things. The human side of recovery. We're building a learning environment. Technology as a bridge, but not a barrier. I'm going to go in much in this because persons now need to understand that when you are going into the classroom now, some places may not have light. So now you're going to have to be a little bit more creative. So we're going to give you tips on that. The mental health and psychosocial care. I'm glad she's here so she can be able to speak into that notion of it. The community and collaboration section. Now, guys, I'm an assistant VP for my community, and we have started our initiatives by looking on our own community and see where there is need. If you are in the same space, if you can't get to go to those other places, stick into your space and look if there's need there and help somebody, right? We're gonna be preparing for the future. Future where it don't stop here, After this, then next year we have to be looking into it. So teaching after the storm is just about returning to normal. It's about redefining what's possible. So let's do it together now, guys. Now, the human side of teaching after the disaster. I mean, when I came up with these topics, I was like just saying to myself, you know what you're talking about? And I said, I'm going to put myself in the space and respond. As teachers, we are now the first responders in education recovery. Their students are going to be looking to us to fix what is at home, to advise them how to get certain things, to tell them what to do. So when that needs a right come, don't shift away. I mean, you're human. So if you don't want to do it, it's up to you. But if it can't be you, channel them into somebody that they can do it, can get the service done. We'll now have to balance what? Personal recovery with professional responsibility. What do I mean by that? Yes, you're home and you have no light, no water. You have kids going to school, but your professional responsibility will have to step in now. Your ministry is waiting on you. Your institution is waiting on you to do what you need to do to get things going. It's going a little bit hard, but step by step you'll get there. And offer some emotional healing in the classroom. This is paramount because when students came back to class on Wednesday at my institution, there was a lot of laughter in the classroom, and I like that. There were a lot of jiggles. Persons were just using the metaphor. What Melissa come here for? I didn't know her. I don't have nothing for her, The girl come on my doorstep and rock out 2 or 3 of them. I don't have nothing for her. Using those memes and trying to get a laughter spin on this thing. And it was useful because they could have been able to laugh out the experience they had. So don't shun them from doing little storytelling. Sharing their experience is a part of what you call a therapy, right? Right, Doc? Right? Yes. No. We're building the learning space now. So you have to adapt to new teaching environments. As I said to you before, we will need to be more creative in what we're doing in teaching, which may be a temporary classroom or outdoor space. You have to look into that because some of the schools where I've been following is not yet refurbished back in terms of roofing and stuff. So they may have tents that has solar over above it and may just carry little things in there to just start off the lesson. Don't be afraid to go into a classroom like that. Because no, you have to try and take a little thing. It's called improvisation. That's the power of it. So as I state, education doesn't stop when the walls fall. It moves where the people are. That's a very powerful statement. I will repeat it again. Education doesn't stop when the walls fall. It moves where the peoples are. You have to take that into mind. Now, technology and innovation. This is my space. Using technology to bridge the post-storm learning gaps. So it's very important of online learning apps and low data solutions now. We are in the mode of AI and we have a lot of them. So you're going to look for the ones that can be able to use offline. If not, they'll use up a lot of data. ChatGPT is one of them that provides such. You have Magic School and you have Diffit. Many people gonna ask me, what should I talk about? Lady, they barely know Google Classroom, much less what you say? Take it in strides. Use Google Classroom if you need. And wherever you are and you have data, use what is comfortable for you. Anything that can amplify your lesson creation and assessment is comfortable. It's okay. The need for solar power and backup devices and community Wi-Fi spots will be something that you're going to have to lean on. This comes right back to COVID, when they were putting up a lot of the hotspots in the areas because students could not go to school. So now we're shifting back to that, and JCF has placed a lot of hotspots in communities, so you can be able to tap into some of those, right? The question for tonight is that I'm going to be sharing this with you. What digital tools helped you keep teaching or learning when the power was out? What you use? I know somehow never do nothing still because I'm listening to on the doorstep. I better ask a question still. Tell me in the chat. Keep the chat going. So, this is the part now where I need Ms. White to clock in for me. Emotional and psychosocial support. Healing and human connection of post-crisis education. Tell me now, how can somebody, when they go back to school, be able to give the psychosocial support?
So, one of the things that we have to understand is that we're all humans existing in different pockets, right? In different areas. And so there is no superpower, there is no super God that we possess to say, all right, I don't feel this and I am not like that and this doesn't affect me or whatever. We're all human and there are certain things that we'll definitely go through. So one of the things is taking that understanding with us into the classroom as teachers and as lecturers and caretakers and so on, understanding that you're human, which means that it will offer you now an opportunity to connect with the students on that human level as well. So the most basic thing that you can do is they're not robots, they have feelings. You are not robots, you don't have this wall up. Is have conversation. And the most basic conversation starts with the most basic question, which is, how are you?
Yes.
How are you? Because now you would have been building a relationship and you are opening up now the opportunity for them to express themselves and also you as well. So don't act like you're great and how are you doing, students? And the students them talk and you not talk. Tell them if your roof near the blow off and how you did feel, because that
Yes.
will make the experience all the more human, and then they'll realize that them alone have gone through, and it will open up the door for them pretty much to listen to what you have to say academically.
Yeah, because it boils down to the simple classroom well-being activity,
Absolutely.
right? Gratitude circle,
Mm-hmm.
reflection journal, writing some things, getting them to be comfortable in their own space so they can be able to hear your thing and to know that you're human too.
Absolutely.
You leak, you have leaks in your house. Boy, when Melissa come, the whole line start that drizzle like somebody throw water in the
Fetch
house.
the bucket and put it underneath the leaves and so on because you make the experience now understandable, relatable, and acceptable. So they might say,
Yeah,
oh, Mr. Human too, and it
yeah.
also creates an opportunity for you to ask deeper questions, just so and introduce even the activities that you were talking about earlier to say like journaling and so on.
Right
So if I built
down.
a relationship with my students asking how them is and may I rap and flex with them. When we say journal, make we journal with feelings, guys, make we write it down. They will be
Mhm.
willing to do so. And I too must also partake in that as well. So you mentioned a few, which is really, really good, but it has to be backed by the human part of it, the
Yes,
vulnerability.
it is because we have to understand that we are in a classroom that are diverse learners.
Yes,
Persons are going through various psychosocial, social, we call it, social problems
yes.
even before the storm. So this, even though no impacts them even more because now it is an exponent on what it is. It creates a bigger, a diversity
Mm-hmm.
in terms of what they're going to go through. No,
Yes.
so I don't know. So here are some tips now, and you can tell me if I'm off in any way. Physical physical and infrastructure resources. Now, look at it now, guys. This is what we're going to need to look into. Temporary classroom and learning tents. I believe in that. Last night I was watching the TV and I realized that NHS segued and had a mobile pharmacy. I said, good God, thank you, Jesus.
Yes.
Going to the murky water, I'm going to find them, the patient that will need the medication
Mm-hmm.
and give it to them. Why not
Mm-hmm.
have a mobile classroom?
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Dixon, if you're hearing me, please, you can look into that. Minister Dixon, I should say. Solar power lighting and chargers. So in there, you can have solar
Mm-hmm.
power banks now where they can be able to charge up them little device and get them things sorted out. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Those things are going to be paramount. Portable whiteboards and tables and chairs. Yes. I see a lot of persons carrying building repairs and so that's nice. Why not where the schools are devastated to carry those tents and chairs into a space that doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have any debris and create a classroom that the students can return to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Clean water and sanitation facilities. This is very much so.
Yep.
Mobile trucks now with water. Mobile toilets now need to be erected and properly sanitized each time. Because here we're going now. We have to put in some infrastructure in place when them return.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because as a quinta December, so
Mm-hmm.
digital and technological resources now, this is my bed. Offline educational apps, as I said to you before, we're going to need to get some of that.
Yes.
Cloud storage, your backup tools.
Mm-hmm.
These may be so foreign to most people, but being in an institution, we have to be flexible in how we do things.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to be a time when you're going to record yourself and talk, use the
That's
phone.
that's right.
You're going to
That's
have to do that and send it to the WhatsApp and then let them look at it and you have that's teaching. That's
mm-hmm.
teaching. Learning management systems where there's need for it, we need it. Mobile services and tablets where there's needed, we need it. I was talking to one of my colleagues and she was saying to me, why don't you write to like digital or flow and ask them for some of these things? If they're hearing me, if anybody know them,
Tag them.
if you have any tablet down there,
Tag them and send them right over here.
knock them off and I'll get them to the people then because here what happened. They're gonna need it. Right? Starlink has people persons have donated the Starlink um we call it, internet services in most of those little small spaces. But what if John Tom never have female and it just mash up? Oh God, him can't use Starlink. So we could look into that.
Yeah.
Psychosocial and emotional support, counseling and trauma informed teaching guides. Yes,
Yep.
peer support, teaching network like what you're establishing right now, right? Student well-being toolkits. They need to create something like that, right? community and governmental support, your local educational recovery from your. I'm glad that I saw UNICEF was
Yep.
here. Um, there are a lot of humanitarian persons in the
Person,
island.
yeah.
The field hospital that came out the other day, and I looked at it, I'm saying, wow. In space of 2, 3 things have started to come on
Yeah.
board. This
Yeah.
is good, guys. I'm just feeling like something is moving
It's
on the ground,
moving. Yeah.
right? So we have to look at how now the collaboration and community rebuilding now, reviewing how parents and local businesses and NGOs can help to rebuild the learning environment through
Mm-hmm.
registered governmental sites like our supportjamaica.gov. If it's that governmental area, go through them or any other place that you know, right? Communication network like your radio, your WhatsApp, your SMS are vital for keeping families informed. You can
Mm-hmm.
imagine those persons who just knew about the whole Starlink and got connected and even if call grandma and
Yep.
grandma ear Percy ears and said, Jesus Percy, are
Just
you that?
yep. Yes. Yes.
Are you that Percy? You can imagine the balling stop?
Mm-hmm.
The whole of last week in the ear from them, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Consider know yourself. Why? It look like it don't know me. Not hear the phone ring and say a person name come up. You supposed
You're
to just
so
drop
happy.
and start ball.
Yes, you're so happy. You are so
I
happy.
mean, person
Mm-hmm.
may say, but when she does emotional, so if it doesn't happen to you, you don't know. You can imagine
You
you're
really
being
don't
through
know.
1.5 weeks without hearing from your loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a pretty sight. It's not a good feeling.
No, and it's just the uncertainty of it. You don't know. You don't know for certain what has happened. Yep, it's rough.
It brought me back to a young lady that was at one of the hospitals. It's like she looking for her loved ones, them, and every time she go, why should I find them? She wanna know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Phone there and full charge, and then one little socket with about 17
Mm-hmm.
people in there. They might have to wait because you have to give persons time to charge. They could be able to
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
understand. So, guys, it's not an emotional attack. It's just persons want to be able to be relaxed and know that their loved ones are okay.
Mm-hmm.
So as we prepare for the future now, and the future don't mean this big all over lose thing is going to happen overnight. We have to stride in resilience and future readiness now. We're going to have to think like this,
Yes.
integrating emergency preparedness in the school culture.
Oh, yeah.
We
Yes.
have to teach our students the little things that preparedness when in
Mm-hmm.
case of a fire. I mean, these things may have been in the curriculum, but
But
have
it
been
needs to be emphasized
carried back
because
to
we
the
do live on
forefront
an island that is prone to
to
hurricane, fire, and all sorts of natural disasters.
what
Yeah.
you need to do when this happens.
Yes.
Encouraging teachers to build digital backups of teaching resources. This is
Uh-huh.
something that we're going to need to rehash back because here what happened. Most of we don't know if do it. And it's going to have to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Promoting continuous professional development, crisis pedagogy. Most people may have asked me what is, but it's something that we need to go back into because we teach everything else in the educational sphere, but this
Mm-hmm.
part has not been carried to the forefront. It's going to need to. It's going to need to. This is my little tip. Basically, teaching through the storm, a guide, a little tidbit where you can look at. I'll post it on my site so you can be able to look at it in your own spare time. It was on my live the other day, and I went into deep in all 4 areas. Now, in the inspiration corner, I run to it because this is the part where I love. Together we will overcome. We are going to go through every part and nook and cranny now and try and pull ourselves together. How we
Mm-hmm.
do this? By being a volunteer. Go to any of the support sites and sign up,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
We faced a lot of challenges before, but we're going to grow stronger and wiser and more compassionate. What I remember and what I've noticed about this storm is that everybody want help.
Mm-hmm.
Don't
Yep.
I was listening to something on Zip today. And the man say, if you cook three tin and a mackerel, cook one. And send the other two down a country.
There you go.
If you cook
There you go.
if you cook tuna and you have 4 pounds of rice, take 1 pound and send the three down.
That is it.
That is how you have to do it. Because you have to think about your sister, your brother down.
Mm-hmm.
So as we close, the next 2 weeks from now, I mean, it's not showing here. Let me hide this so you can be able to see it. I will be having my next podcast. And this is about not just the store, but AI is a part of what we're going to be rebuilding our country on. So how do we learn how to use it in a way that we can be able to tap into it to be a teaching material, teaching assistant as you go through the storm? So the classroom is now flipped, and we're going to be using generative AI to revolutionize learning now. Want to know more about that? Tune in on my channel not next week coming, the 18th at 8 p.m. That time, you may have someone else other than our resident psychologist sitting in the seat, speaking about their efforts and their experience using the tool. I mean, I've sent it to her on Sunday. She never got through, and trust me, when I heard her tell me this, that she's about to do it, I said, "Yes, Lord, it is finally happening. I can be able to do something tonight." So as I close out tonight, I just want to make sure that everybody understands that it's not just us. It's a together. It's a together thing.
Yes.
The process doesn't start by one person. It starts by several things happening. I took it on myself. Many persons asked the question, "Are you knowledgeable on these things?" I said, "You are human, aren't we? Aren't we human? We go every day. Speak to the things that you know." And I'm using the technology that I know that can be able to assist somebody.
That's right.
Understand? I have a platform, invite persons on to speak on their experience. Because here what happened. The things that we normally do and send out is good. But if it's not impacting somebody to be able to make change, why do it? Why do it? I mean, I'm not doing it to create the immense knowledge of persons coming over to my channel. I'm trying to do this to be able to give somebody hope by getting these little information and can write it down and say, all right, then, so it go. All right, fine. I can be able to go back to that space and repeat those information that I got. So guys, as we trend into the new norm that we're in, without Christ in the vessel, we cannot face the storms. I'm asking you, outside of just doing the normal things human possible, put for Christ first, because without that we can't go through. So as we close out this week, ensure that you try to assist someone in getting over that storm experience, and we do it together. So Sheena, leave your handle with us so we can be able to have persons know. Follow you on Instagram and TikTok.
Right. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Roar Unleashed. ROAR UNLEASHED. Roar Unleashed. And you can send us a message. You can leave a comment under a post. If you need assistance, reach out to us. But also follow, because as I like to say, everybody should have a therapist as a contact. Right? Either you follow them on social media or you store their number in your phone, because either you're going to need it one day or for yourself, or you're going to need it for somebody else. All right? And you can get information there, whether one information or two information or enough information, we got you. So yeah, follow us.
Yes. So tonight was a very fruitful night.
Yes.
We got much things done. So as we leave tonight, we leave with this with you. Jamaica will rebuild together, stronger and even better. Have yourself a wonderful